The views and opinions expressed during Love and Life with Lana and Dave are those only of the speakers and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or the position of our podcast hosts or affiliates. Any content provided is not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, anyone, or anything. All right, let's do it.
You're listening to Love and Life with Lana and Dave, the podcast where logic is power and you take control. Thank you for tuning in, making the choice to listen in and get ideas for your own love and life. Now, here are your hosts, Lana Williams and David Vaccaro.
We're sure you've been waiting for part 2. Interview with my brother, Frankie. Frankie DiMaggio, some really cool stuff coming up. I'm going to get right out of the way so we can get back to the episode. Here we go.
Because, you know, one of the jobs I used to do was to go in and try to guess people's passwords based upon questions I would ask. Do you ever play that game, 20 Questions, where you think of something, anything, and then it asks 20 questions, and by the end of the 20 questions, it says, you're thinking about this. And it's usually 99% right.
Really?
Yes.
Same with passwords, 99%?
Well, passwords are a little bit different, but yes, we have a sheet that we use, and we ask questions. Is your password this? Is your password at least that? Are you doing this?
Right.
And do you have at least one capital letter? Do you have more than one capital letter? And you know, we ask all these questions. And by the time they're done answering that questionnaire, we usually can get their password. And that was part of a thing that I used to do.
I'm the guy that after you got up, say, no, that's not it. Nice try though.
Yeah.
I would say maybe when
while I'm changing my password.
We log in. We log in and let you know we're in your account. That's how, you know, we don't go to you and go, hey, is this your password? Because you go, no.
Right. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So we used to do security tests and look, the weakest thing it's not the computers. Computers don't fail. It's the people that fail. Right.
Yeah.
So I know, like, one of the companies that I sold, we had a guy come into our house, and there's a police report out there somewhere about it, came into our house claiming to be my cable guy, and came in and said, we have to reprogram your card or whatever, took the card out, and we thought he just stole the card. And it turned out he threw the card on the ground. The cards were worth a lot of money. Remember the satellite cards?
Yeah.
Those
That's how we got an NFL ticket.
Yeah, exactly. Those things were worth a lot of money back then. Those
Absolutely.
cards. And he just threw it on the ground, threw them all on the ground. He said he was going to go reprogram. It turned out to be a corporate spy trying to get into our, you know, the kitchen attendant stuff that we were doing. So, you know, we ended up selling that company years later. This was when it was first starting out, you know, when we first applied for patents, and they were like, what is this? You know, and somebody came, you know, so, and you have something far more powerful than what this was. So, like I said, the weakest point is going to be the humans. And that's where hackers are going to go when they're trying to get this. But that doesn't matter, because that's not what we're here talking about.
Don't let them tickle you and try to get you to admit anything.
Yeah. What's your password? What's your password? Tickle, tickle, tickle. You know, but I mean, it's amazing stuff, and I'm really excited about it. And we will definitely talk more offline about this. And, you know, who knows, you know, this could be one of our really popular podcasts, and people go, I want to know more. Keep talking about stuff like that. Because that's why I play the devil's advocate, because in reality, there's a lot of great technology out there. And without fail, it's going to get used, sadly, for something horrible down the road. And it's scary, you know, so the better the technology is, the scarier it becomes. And I hate to say that. But so do you have anything else to say about that? And it's
www.mylegacyvoice.com.
Awesome. That's great. Now, also, Frank also did the storm on Area 51.
Well, there was a meme that was created by a kid. You heard about that, right?
Yeah. I
He's going to tell us the story.
Yeah, tell us the story.
A kid was up in the middle of the night, bored out of his mind, put a fake event up on Facebook. Let's all storm Area 51 and make them show us them aliens. Next morning, he woke up. There was like 80 people that he didn't have before had logged on and said they're coming to the event. 2 days later, 10,000. Couple days later, million. 6 weeks, 3.6 million people responded to it.
Yeah.
So these kids, they were 20 years old at the time, decided that they were going to come out to the desert outside of Area 50. Sorry about that. That's our vicious, what is it? French bulldog. She's angry. Anyway.
Well, we got to tell it. We got a rule on our podcast. When we hear a dog, we need to know what her name is.
Her name's Bella. But we call Bella, her nickname is Whiz because she could whiz faster than any dog I've ever seen, and you can't catch her. So
now, is this a whiz
awesome.
Is she pee-peeing or is she running from you?
She's an 18-pound French bulldog that has no fear of our 90-pound English bulldog.
Oh yeah,
she'll go straight at his face. She's not afraid of anything.
That's awesome.
That's a girl thing. Yeah.
And then this one. Then we have this one.
Oh, we get lucky. We get to see.
This is Thor.
Oh, look at that.
Yay.
He's about 10 months old. He's not as smart as she is.
Yeah.
But he's very lovable. He weighs twice what she weighs.
Yeah.
Happy.
Wow. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
And I
So
looked the other one up, and he's 90 pounds. So.
thank you for sharing. So everybody, those are
Frank's puppies,
dogs.
and nobody got to see them. Huh?
You guys don't get to see them, but we did. So they made this meme, and it blew up, and so they started going there. They started showing up.
So the kids went out to the desert, and they said, we should do a rave out here somewhere and do a big party out in the desert.
Right.
So they went out to a few different places that were near Area 51.
Right.
Nothing's really near Area 51. There's a gate, but then you're another 60 miles from where you're allowed to be.
Yep.
Nobody's going to storm Area 51.
No.
It's not going to happen. It's just, and if there was ever aliens there, they're probably long gone by now anyway.
And if they are there, I'm not sure you want to meet them because they're buried away for a reason, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So these kids went to this small town called Rachel.
Yep.
And they said there's a place called the Little Ailey Inn out there.
Yep.
And there's 5 or 8 hotel rooms that are made out of trailers. Just nothing really.
Right.
They get about 9 cars a day pass by there.
Right. Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I bet.
It's in the middle. It's 180 miles outside of Vegas. So we still didn't know them. We got contacted by another place of some other guys that were wanting to kind of divert people away from there because they thought that most likely somebody was going to get killed out there.
Right. If they tried to storm Area 51.
Or even if just to be out in the desert with no gas, no food, no electricity, no nothing, no camping. No, it's all primitive.
Yeah, it is. It's BLM land out there. Yeah.
So we got contacted by them finally, and they said, we need help. We got this huge event coming up on the 19th of September. It was then, I believe, the 5th or 6th of September. Like they had 11 days to get this together.
Oh, good.
And which is the story of my life. That's what people call me for.
Why would you even?
So I got them. So we got together, and I said, the best thing that you guys can do is pull the plug on this fucking nightmare of a plan, an idea that's going to go bad. And it's going to ruin you guys' reputations.
Of course.
It's just not going to work. So this girl that owned the Little Ailey Inn brought some guy in, and he started playing hardball with us, trying to get the password from the kids. We call them the kids for their Facebook that has all those followers.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
He had shaken them down for. We didn't know about it. We're meeting at my buddy's house. We started asking them questions, simple questions. What do you guys got in place for electricity? What do you have in place for generators? What about medical? What about, everything that you would ask a normal person?
Yeah, you can't have an event with none of that. Yeah.
Exactly. They said, we don't have to tell you shit.
Okay.
And I said, get the fuck out of my house. Get the fuck out of the house. Just leave. Get out. You wasted our time.
Yeah.
We're out. We're done. So they left, but the kids stayed. And they said, we don't want to go out there. And why? They told us why. That these assholes had scared the shit out of them and tried to get them to give up passwords and everything else to steal this event from them. And I said, well, on Monday, let me call downtown Las Vegas Event Center and see if we can move it. Mm-hmm. And we'll do it where it's safe, where there's food, where there's security, where there's bathrooms, where there's all the stuff that you have to have before you do what they were trying to do out there. And usually that takes a year to plan, minimum.
Of course.
We got 11 days. So downtown Las Vegas Event Center said, well, guess what? We're already having an event for Area 51. I'm like, get the fuck out. I go, well, I've got the kid that started it. They're like, what would you guys need to bring him? I'm like, I'll bring him anyway. We'll bring him anyway. Just make sure that everybody knows he's going to be there, and we'll do the same. So they had I think 2,600 people sign up it was a Bud Light event. Mm-hmm. By the time we got done, 12,800 people showed up. We had 9 days to plan it. Mm-hmm. They all showed up. They had a massive event in downtown Las Vegas, right in front of Life is Beautiful, the big festival we have here, the night before. So we killed it. So the girl out in Rachel, she got 5,000 or 10,000 people. She decided that she was going to sue me for breaching the contract and interference with the contract, which there was no contract because they were never going to sign one with her because she wanted these kids to sign a contract, basically giving up all the proceeds to her. And they said, no, we're not going to do it. So I've literally been in litigation for the last 4 years with this psychopath that thinks that because she didn't get 10,000 people, and she's lucky she didn't because somebody would have died.
Yeah, you can't. I've been out in that area, and I know that inn that you're talking about, the trailer park, is what it is. It's just that's exactly what it is. They bought some land for $10,000 for a few acres of property, or even less. I think at the time they were selling land out there for $1,000 an acre, and I think they have maybe 10 acres that they have.
Yep,
it's not a lot.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've been out there, and you cannot survive out there. You're right. It's the desert. It's the desert. Yep. It's not
hot during the day, cold at night. Scorpions, snakes, glass bottles, cows, everything.
Yep.
So they had to airlift 2 people. They only had I think they had 3,000 or 4,000 people out there. They had to airlift some people out because they hit a cow in their car. Some people got in. Now imagine 100,000 people shows up. No. What are you going to do?
No,
they said that if they have they had 2 ambulances out there. They said if somebody has a heart attack, somebody breaks their leg, we're out of ambulances.
Yeah.
If we need a third one, it'll take us 5 hours to get one out here.
Oh yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere, and I think that it's probably good that you didn't take all those people out there because if you did, you'd be the next one would be watching on the. I would have never done it. It's not going to be Coachella with 11 days to plan. You can't. Coachella planned for years before they started their concert. You know, of course. Yeah.
So, so moving it was the smartest thing to do. Bud Light jumped in on it. Destroy All Humans, the video game, gave a big fat chunk of change within 24 hours just to be part of it.
That's
so we after the event, we extended the event so we wouldn't lose those 3.6 million people.
Sure.
And planned events starting in Washington D.C. We were doing an alien run, like a 5K.
Oh yeah.
But you had to do it with a blow up alien to get to the mothership.
Nice.
And we were going to start it on the steps of Congress. Mm-hmm. And they were freaking out, man. We had 11,000 people signed up in 2 days, paying $50 a pop, and COVID hit.
Oh,
yeah. So 17 events became 0.
So wait,
events
so you're the reason
overnight.
that COVID came to this country? I get it now. They didn't want people on the stairs, and they said, "Yeah, we'll just."
It was already here, but it's funny that when I first heard about Kiss, I was at an airport in LA. I'd flown out to go see Kiss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all these people, I'm looking for zombies. I'm like, this COVID thing is bullshit. And then 3 months later, boy,
it wasn't.
Vegas shut down.
I know, it was crazy.
It was like an apocalyptic, aftermath.
It actually was. I'm a prepper. I believe in being prepared for stuff like that. And everybody during that, when everything shut down, you couldn't get food, and everybody's calling me going, "What do?" I go, "You prepared like months ago, right?" No.
Yeah.
I go, "Well, what do you?" It's
That's
called prepared.
What prep means.
I mean, you should have joined Boy Scouts because that was their thing. Be prepared,
Yeah. And the whole toilet paper thing was all bullshit. We had plenty of toilet paper.
Of course,
they created a hype.
They did.
The news created a hype.
They sold more toilet paper in that one little moment than they sell in 2 years. That's what happened.
I gotta admit, I briefly considered a bidet. I really did. I thought about
Whatever. I said that to people. I go, you realize I've been to countries where there is no toilet paper?
Right.
They use their left hand. That's why they shake with their right hand. If you ever want to insult somebody, put your left hand out in that country. Watch what happens.
If you guys noticed while you were out shopping, they never ran out of Kleenex though.
Yeah, right.
So you couldn't buy a 12-pack of toilet paper, but you could buy a 40-pack of Kleenex. How come nobody ever established that?
I had friends that were buying paper towels, which is terrible. and cutting them. Because that's not good for any kind of
Listen,
sewage system.
We had enough. We bought enough, and it lasted, and then it ended. And it's like, what do you know? And then my friend's got a wife that works for a paper company that makes toilet paper, paper towels, napkins. She goes, we had semi full of trucks just sitting there, not moving,
That's
and we were told they're not allowed to move. Leave it there.
That was the thing, right? Is the trucks weren't delivering them. It was
right.
It existed. Don't tell us that we have a toilet paper shortage, because what? If we have a toilet paper shortage, we got a paper towel shortage. A paper shortage is a paper shortage is a paper shortage, right? It's not.
But you know what it is?
This place makes
the pragmatism of it is that the stores did not have that product,
right?
But wasn't that there was a shortage? It was just a shortage of that.
Look what happens in New England every time that there's going to be a big storm. There's a shortage of everything in the grocery stores. They clean the shelves.
It's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah,
like anything that you would go get in a storm now. And again, how many times I have to tell my Dunkin' Donuts story?
Flintstone vitamins. What the fuck? Where are they?
My Dunkin' Donuts story around here is if you go to Dunkin' Donuts every day, that I have a coffee pot. I make my own coffee every day. I wouldn't leave the house to make coffee. To me, that's insanity. Yeah, I want coffee in my house. What am I leaving? I don't want to leave my house to get it.
People do.
I know, and some people like to go out, and that's their thing. But when it's time to get coffee in the morning, you don't want to be like stuck where you can't get to the coffee that you get every day. So when we have a snowstorm here, there's people that my feed is like full of 14 people that are like, is there any Dunkin' Donuts open today? Like, is there a Dunkin' Donuts open?
Yeah.
I'm like,
you knew the storm was coming 3 days ago.
The storm was like predicted last week.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we got a foot and a half of snow. And sure, there might be Dunkin' Donuts open, but like, why are you asking the morning of the storm if something is open? That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Like, you were there yesterday. You couldn't buy 2 yesterday?
Yeah, get a black one, put it in your fridge and microwave it. Yeah, like you say.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me that, like, it's not like you're going out of your way. If anything, you're already going to be there. You're not spending any more money. You're like buying another $3 worth of coffee.
Be prepared.
Right, like, that's just one thing. But like, what I'm saying is, like, most people are reactionary, instead of proactive. They're just like,
that's their problem.
Off walls, going, "Oops, what now? What do I do? Oops,
that's their problem." Yeah, that's their problem.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying, nothing that you would get in a snowstorm in New England is like something that like you would have to have for the storm.
Right.
If you shop well, you've already pretty much got it in your fridge. Like,
yep, you do.
You know, so
you should.
That's all I'm saying.
So Frank. Is there anything else that you want to touch on? I mean, we're pretty much reaching.
That was, like I said, that's kind of what Vocapsule got bred out of is we're in the entertainment business. We just lost 17 events throughout the United States that would have netted us somewhere in the neighborhood of about $40 million.
Sure.
And we got zero now. None of my friends are working. None of my sound guys are working. None of my musician friends are working. Everybody is dead in the water. What do we do to sure that we do something that even if it comes back and everything gets back to normal, if it ever happens again, we got something to fall back on.
There you go.
That is what the voice cloning became, because it started off as like a cameo with a lot of the horror icons. You know, the Ghostface and the twins from all the people that do the convention circuit. You know,
yep.
They wanted a way to make phone calls to people, but not have to do the phone calls.
Right. Absolutely.
So that graduated to Kiss and doing we call them Kissmas cards, which is Kiss. Gene and Paul could send out Christmas cards, audio Christmas cards to people, thousands, hundreds of thousands of them, and never have to speak a word. And they're all be personal.
That's right. Because there are people doing that now, but to get the big stars, it's impossible, right?
Cameo. Even Ice-T did Cameo, but he was $500, for or $750 for like.
And I'm not saying Ice-T's nothing, because he is, but if I wanted to get somebody, if I wanted to go, like, let's say I wanted to get like. I don't know. I want Brad Pitt. I want John Travolta. I want they're not doing it. I mean,
But then that's what I was trying to. I was trying to get that point across to Morgan Freeman's manager too. I said, "How much does it cost to have Morgan Freeman do a 30-second commercial spot with just his voice? Because we all know who he is."
Right.
He said $1.3 million.
Yes.
I go for a 30-second spot. I go, so what if I can't afford it? What if I only have $800,000? What do I get? He goes, not Morgan Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
I go, but what if Morgan Freeman's voice could go out and do all those 300,000, 400,000,
and it's still yours, and he still gets that money.
He still gets that money, and he doesn't have to do a fucking thing.
So instead of putting him out of business, you're
going to put him out of work.
You're actually making it
in reality,
the old school guys don't get that. They think that voice is doing his job. He won't have a job. No, the voice is doing all the stuff you turn down.
Yes, but okay. In fairness, I hear about this, and I'm already paying him $1.3 million every time he does it, and I go, you know what? I don't need him. I'm going to go to these guys, and I'm going to pay him $800,000 instead. So I get the difference, but he would do a lot more of those 800,000.
Yeah. What about audiobooks? We spoke to Ozzy for a couple of reasons. One, because he can't tour anymore. I have a studio here in Las Vegas that's owned by a company that this place will blow your mind. It is where they can broadcast live to up to 2 million people, and about 270,000 of them can be interactive. In other words, they can speak to that person in their living room. So you have this huge screen in front of you, digital screen with all these small boxes with people sitting in their living rooms watching you from the front row.
Yeah.
And then you can point to that box, expand it, and have a conversation with that person in Australia.
That's
147.
awesome.
So we thought perfect for Ozzy. He can't tour anymore. Perfect for any band that can't get on a tour bus and tour anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
They're doing residencies now because they don't want to tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about this place too. So, but we had approached Ozzy about his book because we thought he's written 2 books. Why can't we clone him? Mm-hmm. We'll clone the book. And then Ozzy will now be the stock reader that we would get when we buy his.
And nobody would fucking understand the book. They'd be like,
but it's Ozzy.
Still Ozzy.
You probably understand it.
It would sell a lot.
All these narcissists that I speak to on a daily basis all have books. Have books.
Of course they do.
All think their life is interesting, and none of them read them. It's all stock readers.
Yeah, of course.
So if you can go back, I would go back and buy the book with Ozzy's voice in it. Even if I would. I honestly,
I would too.
So,
I just listen. I know nobody's going to care about this, but I just listen to I'm an 80s kid, so I just bought Jennifer Gray's book, and I was so happy she read it because it's a whole different story in her voice.
Is that Jennifer Gray? Is that from? She's from Buck's
Dirty
Show.
Well, she's Dirty Dancing. And
okay, yeah. No, I'm thinking
Ferris Bueller and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But she wrote a book called Out of the Corner, which is
she did the audio.
Her life, and she did the read, which
that's great.
As somebody that was a fan of hers, it's so much nicer for me to hear her reading it than
100%.
just some reader.
Of course.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure if you're a reader, I respect that.
Well, David, we're public domain on certain books now. Like you heard, Winnie the Pooh just went public domain.
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Alice in Wonderland's been public domain for 30 years
now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So so our idea was I can have Johnny Depp read Alice in Wonderland to you now without having to read it.
That's right.
Well,
and you buy the book with Johnny's book.
Imagine. I mean, this opens a whole nother thing. Okay, here comes the businessman side of me.
Yep.
So it does open a whole thing. So now, not only do I buy a book, but I can select whoever I want to read it to me. I want it to be read to me by this guy, and it'll be like, okay, your book is processing.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, it's going to be, your book will be processed and you'll get it within 24 hours, or however long it takes to process. Probably not even 24 hours. Of course, it's not going to be, it's not going to have all the niceties in it that it does when you guys go through and manually add the inflections and stuff like that. Because right now you're manually adding them. Eventually, AI could add those too. AI is smart enough to be able to do that. I mean, have you gotten the phone calls where it's like, "Hi, this is so and so," and you go, "Who's this?" "Oh, it's so and so," and you can tell by the little pause, but the inflections are there. It's really good. That's AI. That's straight up AI. You're having a conversation with, and I go, "You're an asshole," and what do? "We'll remove you from our list. Goodbye." They hang up because they know you're mad at me. It's AI. So this technology is going to grow crazy big. There's no question, because you're really unlimited to what you can do with this. And so, with that said, we definitely have hit.
We have, but before we go, you were talking to Frankie about Christina. You should talk to her about having her, because she's trying to read her book. She's trying to get through it.
Oh, Christina, I heard she just
you should clone her and have her just clone herself and walk away.
That would be
it
much
would be
easier.
in her voice, and she wouldn't have to go through the whole thing, because she's not that it's not that she can't read it, but I know that it's just it's kind of traumatic for her to go through and read. You know,
yeah.
So
it's also very time consuming for a celebrity to read. You know, their schedules are pretty tight, and.
Right.
She's doing something with Gene Simmons coming up here, but she just opened that museum here too. The Kiss Museum. So I haven't seen it yet. I should.
They've been going through like all of Gene Simmons stuff and like, you know,
the crazy stuff
on display. She's been doing that for like months.
Yeah,
that's a lot of stuff.
Probably close to maybe almost a year, maybe.
Wow.
And summertime will be a year.
So have you gone and played the indoor mini golf at the Kiss one?
Of course,
yeah.
You did. Oh, okay. I didn't know if you.
Dave, I don't know if Lana told you, but this is the crazy part of. I've known Christine and Patrick
since they moved to Vegas, probably
since 2012.
That's what a small world, right?
Yeah, he had no idea.
They were friends with my sister.
See?
You know, I had no idea.
So
until I looked at their Facebook.
Yeah.
So Frankie, my sister calls me in December 2020. So we're in the middle of the pandemic, and her and I had not been speaking. There's a whole big thing about that. So anyway, we get on the phone, we catch up, and she's like, what did she say? She said she sent me a picture, and she said, "Who does that look like?" And I'm like, "What are you?" I have a really weird brain where I can't just look at something. I get like, what is she? Where is she going with this? So finally, she told me, "Doesn't this person look familiar? Who does this person look like?" And then she said Ma, because we call her Ma. And then it clicked, and I was like, "Oh my God!" So we talked to you that night, I think, and like we started telling you about, you know, your biological father and her and I, and we just kind of caught him up on just like the basics. Yeah. But I added him on Facebook, and immediately Christina popped up, and I was like, as a mutual.
That's weird. That's
right.
crazy.
So isn't that crazy? I think I've known her since 2000 and actually the 80s, because she used to be a manager at a club that I was trying to DJ. I didn't know her personally then, but that was when I first met her. Was trying to get a job at this place over here, and
that's crazy.
That was the first time. And then when my ex being a sound guy, he worked with Patrick, and we all went off to do a show in, I think, like, I want to say Cape Cod or something for a while. And somehow or other, she was on that. She went with him, and they had, if they ever told you about their dog Tony, they had a big Neapolitan Mastiff.
No.
At that time. I don't think he was with them, but he might have been. But it was like, I met her again at that point. I was like, oh, wait a minute. You're married to Patrick? But it was before she was married to Patrick that I met her the first time. So it's really weird, but I've known her forever.
David, Patrick's in a band called The Bones here. Mm-hmm. They opened up for Bang Tango. Do you remember them?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I haven't heard
Bones
that
come from here. I think he started that.
Just like a couple days ago, 4 days ago.
No kidding.
And he's got Les Warner, who was the drummer for the Cult.
Yep.
For Sonic Temple. And he's got, before Matt saw him. And then he's got Sean, who plays bass, who was Joan Jett's bass player for years.
Oh, no kidding.
So he's playing with all these rock stars, man. And Patrick's
awesome.
Patrick's a hoot, man. He's a fun
guy.
Patrick is,
she
acquired taste.
She was a guest on our show. That's how I met her through.
Yeah.
Oh, she was?
Yeah,
she was a guest. See, you're gonna have to catch up. She was on 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything to do with Kiss, I go to her first because she's, she brought Eric Singer in from drummer from Kiss, who when we did this, do a studio tour of that studio, because we're trying to get Kiss into the studio because they're retiring, but I can put them in front of 2 million people, paid viewers. They can make as much in one run.
I know.
One night crazy. They can make as much in one night as they'd make in an entire tour.
I know. I know, because there's no venue that can hold that many people. So
no,
yeah, unless you
no Ticketmaster,
maybe in Germany.
No Ticketmaster. Everything's in-house.
No Live Nation, huh?
Yeah.
No Live Nation.
Hey, I have to. I think so. Dave and I will have to somehow. What are we going to do, Dave? Hop in your RV and we're gonna have to go to Vegas.
Don't drive.
No,
Because you're gonna have to.
I'll
He won't
drive.
fly.
I hate
He won't
flying.
fly.
Yeah, hate it.
You won't fly.
Not that I haven't been to 42 different countries flying, of
Then
course.
bring a fishing pole then, because it's a long ride.
I like it. I love
He
it.
doesn't care. He
I
doesn't
love
care.
it. I love road trips.
Plus, I want to make sure I could take my dog with me.
Yeah.
I'll probably just drive myself and go get a hotel room. But yeah, we
got plenty of room here. We got 5 bedrooms and 4,000 square feet.
Well,
I know, but I
keep saying I gotta. So my daughter has a fear of clowns, and she wants so bad. And we were talking about the Monster Golf. They all have clowns in them. So my daughter can't go. She's 30 years old. She has a fear of clowns, like horrendously. That it's a real thing. Like I thought it was crap. Until I see her start shaking, and yes, it's an actual thing. She gets all teary eyed and she tries to look away, and it's sad, really. And I'm like, it's a fucking clown, but no, she can't. So I said, do you have one that doesn't have clowns in it? And she said, well, we have the Kiss one, doesn't have clowns in it. So I said, okay, I'm gonna have to get my.
So it's Jean's face instead. Yep.
Yeah, Jean's face is Jean's face. It's not a clown.
She finally did announce the sale.
Oh, she did.
Yeah. I think it was within the last week or two.
Yeah, she announced it. She announced it on our podcast first.
Yep, she did. What? But then she sold that. Her and Patrick
Monster
sold
Golf.
It.
Oh, she sold the one there.
She sold the franchise.
They sold the franchise.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think her and Patrick, they own those and they kept those. I believe the ones in Vegas.
Yeah, they kept the two separate. The Kiss one and the I believe it's the Twilight Zone one. They kept.
Yeah.
That's not here though.
It is. It's in Vegas.
The Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said there was.
Here. Is it in Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah, she said there was something in Vegas that was a Twilight Zone that was related to.
So you didn't go to that one yet?
Wait a minute.
Don't tell her that I don't know about that. I've never.
You just did.
I really have never.
Listen, wait. You're living right next to Christina over there, and like you're supposed to know way more about this than I do. But that's what she said.
I only know about it because she was on.
I'm a Kiss. I'm a Kiss first and foremost. Before my relationship with Christine, I am a Kiss fan.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you a bigger Kiss fan than Patrick? Because he's really a fan.
I mean, I got him tattooed on my arm, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I mean, I just remember him walking around.
1976.
I don't know how long.
Did you hear that, Gene? He's got the Kiss tattoo. Gene's probably like big deal. Everybody does.
Yeah. You know what? We see him all the time now, so he knows who we are. So he's been. Everybody says he's an asshole, but he's all right.
He's a shrewd businessman, is what he is. That's all.
Well, he's very into his people that like him and people that are fans. Yes,
absolutely,
he's number one for Kiss fans. He's not trying to squeeze them.
Nope.
But he keeps trying to offer them more things that obviously are Kiss oriented. But
of course,
he got the guy. Everything he touches turns to gold.
Of course. Yeah. He's
so
brilliant marketing guy. It's what it really comes down. And he's a great bass player and singer too. So,
I tried to put him in the studio. I've been trying and bugging out. I've talked to Doc McGee like weekly, trying to get him in the studio because they're done. I mean, Paul and Gene are done after this tour.
Yeah.
So they're
so they say. We'll see.
Well,
I was gonna say they retired a few times.
I didn't say the Kiss brand.
Right.
But I don't think it's going to be like Cher, where it's like Cher's annual farewell tour.
Yeah,
I know.
And like Motley Crue's for you.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah,
they should have actually done it. This new tour was nothing nice. So
I heard.
I love the guys, but Vince, oh boy.
I heard he's been like that for years, man. I don't know.
He's in my opinion, he's never been a great singer. Great frontman. No, he hasn't. Absolutely.
David Lee Roth was never a great singer.
Right,
either.
I agree with that.
Yeah, he had a different sound though. David Lee Roth did, and he sang in key. That was the difference between him and.
There was a time, I don't know if you guys know this, but Sammy Hagar became the singer for Van Halen, but he was originally supposed to be the singer for Van Halen. They wanted to get him when he was with Montrose.
Yeah.
So I wonder
Van Halen was not Van Halen without David Lee Roth and their original bass player, because that's what gave him the signature sound. And of course Eddie. I mean, there's no question. But those high harmonies.
Yeah, that Michael's doing.
Yeah, you could not replace that with anybody. No. With Wolfgang came in. Eddie's
son. You're a vocalist, so you get it. So that's why bands like, I'm a huge Queensryche fan. I love Queensryche.
Yeah.
Not the new version of Queensryche. Right. I'm a Jeff Tate fan.
Yeah.
And I like vocals. I don't like screamo. I don't like.
Yep.
I want to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And
it just
those same guys just keep popping up as Bruce Dickinson, Ronnie James Dio, Jeff Tate. Same guy.
Yeah, you can't take a band like Van Halen and then put a different singer in and expect them to sound like Van Halen or a different.
No, but nothing for nothing. Sammy did a great job.
Oh, he's a great.
Some of the best stuff they ever did was Sammy.
He's a great vocalist. It's not.
It's
Van
a different
Halen,
band,
though. It's Van Haga.
Yeah, it's a different band.
That's why I call it
Van
Van
Haga.
Haga. Yeah, because it's not Van Halen. Van Halen has a very specific.
I think that the only thing the one transition that I really saw that I thought was crazy was Journey. Now that was crazy.
That dude sounds exactly like him.
I know.
He sounded better sometimes. He had a better range.
That's crazy though.
Yeah, that's different.
He's talking about quitting because they're because of the infighting. What's his Neil Schon and the bass player fighting? They're suing each other. Yet they still perform every night together.
Well, that's like Boston. The guys in Boston hated each other too. The only two that ever got along was Brad Delp and Tom Schultz. They actually recorded the whole album, More Than a Feeling and all that. That was just them two. None of the other guys in the band were on that album. It was just those two. I actually just posted on my Facebook. I don't know if you heard it. Brad Delp singing More Than a Feeling, and it's got everything cut out except the audio, the voice.
Yeah.
Oh God.
No, I haven't, but I want to listen to it.
Yes, dude.
I can't believe Brad's gone. What? So,
yeah.
But Tom Schultz is one of the guys that pitched in for the station fire and did a lot of stage stuff for fundraisers.
He would definitely do that. Yeah,
he did. Yep.
Him and Brad Delp and Tom Schultz actually bought a place in Beverly that they used to go in all the time. They loved it. It was a karaoke bar, and my father was actually the host in there, and they loved my dad so much. And it was on Monday nights, and the place had a line outside, and it was crappy-okie.
But wasn't it a Harvard or Boston bar? Wasn't it like in that area?
No, it was Beverly, Mass.
Oh, Beverly. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You just said that.
They bought it. They ended up buying the place because the owner's like, we're going to shut down. They're like, nope, we're buying it, and they bought it.
Yep.
And then Brad Delp did what he did, and that's that. Now it's gone completely.
I was torn between being sad about Brad Delp and being like, you can put 2 gas grills in your bathroom. Like, what kind of bathroom did you have?
It was right. He needed to use 2 because his bathroom was so
big.
I'm
like wow, like my bathroom, I couldn't fit one. I'd have to have it in the hallway.
They weren't the huge ones. They were.
I know. I'm just
little ones, but still, yeah. I mean, that's terrible.
His guy. We have Michael Sweet lives here from Stryper.
Oh God, yeah.
And he toured with them for a little while with Boston.
Yeah.
After Brad off himself, but he can sing. He can sing.
Oh yeah, no question. Yeah, God, check that out on my Facebook. It's pretty.
I will.
Well, David, you got my number from that thing. Let's get together and talk because we're kind of at a milestone here. I don't want to let
a collaboration is beginning.
Ooh.
Everybody,
if it's technology, I'm I'm all in.
Just gonna be hanging around with all my family members.
I know, right?
Well, Dave, this was always Vocapsule was always my legacy voice was always a capture and kill. We were always planning on selling it. We never wanted to hang on to it for 10 years, and now we might be primed to do that.
Well, I'm really good at getting businesses to that point. I've sold 4 successful exits. I've had 4.
Good.
So
yeah.
Well,
it's good because it's
3.5. The 4th one's a pain in the balls, but it's the big one, so I can't really complain. It's just taking a while. And I'm not going to talk about that here. I'll talk to you in private.
Put your balls on ice,
yeah.
Of all the things I've ever done, I've never had anybody come to me and after me giving them a short elevator pitch on what we're doing, they've never come to me and said, that doesn't really sound like something we're interested in.
No.
They all say the same thing. It's like, what, how do we, but there's an education process and you're right. The tech guys will understand it.
Yes, 100%. So in the technology, let somebody else market the shit, do the technology side. That's where the money is anyway, right?
I'm not the tech guy. I'm the entertainment guy. So I'm the guy that brought IT to the table.
I get it. I know what you did.
So it becomes even more frustrating for me because now here I am. Listen, I brought you fucking iced tea.
Yeah.
Sell this thing or get some kind of massive funding in this thing so that I don't have to go back out now and try to sell iced teas. Selling of iced tea.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to have to market whatever. I brought you guys an A-lister. What else do you want me to do? I can't keep, So anyway, that's
we'll talk about it. I get some ideas.
Yeah.
There's got to be A-listers that are more.
Listen, Build-A-Bear was my very first idea. I said, all we have to do is put up a fake sound booth with an iPad in every Build-A-Bear across the United States. They clone their voice right there. They send that bear across the United States to their grandchild, and its grandma can read from Harry Potter every single night.
That's right.
If they don't like that idea, and they are starting to decline in a big way.
Listen, you're giving away really good ideas because I'm telling you right now, there's everything is connected to the internet now. So let's not forget that. So the streaming capabilities of what you could put this technology in is billions and billions. So
let me give you one more and then I'm going to go.
Yes.
So we are on the cusp of being able to clone your voice in Spanish.
Really?
So you can speak in English, your clone will be in English, but we can convert your clone to Spanish. It's already being done. It's just not good enough yet. We're almost there.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, so now imagine Netflix, Espanol, now all those voice actors that they're paying to read Bruce Willis's lines in Die Hard, Spanish.
Yep.
Now it can be Bruce Willis reading his own lines in Spanish.
Just so you know, any of those movies that are recorded in a different language and then they put the English over it, the mouths don't match, I won't watch them. I hate it.
I can't stand it. I hate it.
I actually suffered through, what was that one there where they had the red light, green light? It was like really popular on Netflix. It was a show that was like a game show type of thing.
With the Asian.
Squid Games.
Squid Games. Squid Games. So I actually forced myself to watch that whole friggin' thing because everybody's like, you gotta watch it, and I'm like, the voices don't match though, and great premise, but it sucked. I mean, let's be honest. It was don't waste your time.
Well, and that's why you don't see like big actors reading, doing the narration for.
Of course not.
Documentaries. They don't. Every time you do a documentary, more information comes up as the documentary is being filmed.
Of course.
So they add more people to it. Add more narrative to it.
Yeah.
So it costs a fortune to get Morgan Freeman to be able to fucking do a documentary.
Yep.
But what if his clone can do it for him?
I know. I'm telling you.
I was actually watching, was it Judd Apatow that did the documentary for George Carlin? And he said, he's like, we kept having like, I was trying to figure out where the cutoff point was because every time we thought we were done, like somebody would show up and bring more information. And I'd be like, damn it. Like we're trying to get this,
Okay,
wrapped.
listen, I'm going to say this right now. So I definitely can tell that you're her brother. Because you put me and Lana together, we never stopped talking, and now there's three of us in here. We're screwed.
I know.
So
everybody
listen,
I bring in is yappy, just like me.
It's gonna be a thing, and I know that you and I are probably gonna have some Frank. You and I are probably gonna have some long phone conversations too. I just know it's fucking coming, and that's
clear
quite
your
all right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I definitely will talk to you, but thank you so much for joining us today.
So this is Frankie DiMaggio, and he has been our guest.
And the website is
mylegacyvoice.com.
Yes, check it out. It's scary stuff. I have been David.
I have been Lana.
You guys have a spectacular day, and thanks again.
Before we before we wrap, I have to say that we have to go to www.lanandave.com.
That's right.
That's where all of our podcast platforms are. That's where all of our social media is. That's where all of our podcasts are so far. And then buy us all coffee. Buy me a coffee.com//.
I'm gonna go watch Christine's tonight.
You're gonna have. Well, you'll have to listen to it because we didn't do a video with her, but you'll have to listen to it. It's really good.
Right on. All right, guys, have fun.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right.
You're my sister. You can call it once in a while.
I should. I know.
You got to leave that in there.
Damn it.
That stays in there.
Swear at me if you want.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, you just listened to Love and Life with Lana and Dave. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please share the podcast, leave us a comment or review, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new content. We'll see you soon.